Did you turn it back on? Okay, yeah, turn it back on. Yeah, he wants it. Here he comes, Robert Zarnowski. See, I told you if I saw it, I could read it right. Okay. Has had a lifelong passion for writing and reading. It was 15 years ago that he began to approach writing with a more dedicated eye. He is self-published and has been featured in collections similar to our own anthology, the IWN anthology, Ripples. His books are available on Amazon. So I'd like to introduce to you Robert Zarnowski.
Hello. I'm going to read you two poems.
Hang on, Robert. You're too low. Can you come closer if you don't mind? Or should we move the podium?
Okay.
Let's try. Hold on.
I'm going to read you two poems. The first poem is a poem about nothing, titled A Poem About Nothing. I wrote this poem about nothing, not the odd emptiness of the universe, nor the silence between heartbeats. This nothing isn't clothed in fancy metaphors or hidden beneath layers of nuance. It's the nothing of an empty body, a cleared table after a solitary meal, the quiet that follows a question no one answers. I found the tracks of those who've wandered here before, searching for something in the nothing, hoping to fill their pockets with the remnants of dreams and lost conversations. But this poem is not about filling spaces or painting over blank canvases. It's a nod to the void, a toast to the empty, where we meet ourselves, stripped of pretense, naked and shivering, yet somehow profoundly alive. The next poem is about communication. It's called To Be in the Listening. On the earth, where weight is a thing, a real thing, like the heft of a thought or the density in the drop of ink. We're all Atlas, aren't we? But with self-care routines, holding it up, this globe, on the backs of our minds, looking for a dopamine fix, our ears somewhat narcissistically in love with the echo, cycling, recycling in the skull. What if, though, just what if, the fix was in the unfixing, in the unhinging of our own narratives to let the wild in, to let the ocean's roar be a lullaby, or the streams babble be philosophy, trees blooming ancient secrets in a language lost to pride. Imagine leaning in, really leaning in, to the opera of cicadas, the orchestra of traffic, the soft scuff of shoes on pavement, the intimate tangle of teeth and tongue articulating the taste of life. Or the typewriter. Remember those? The pen, the brush, all these hands making worlds, the pure unadulterated giggle of a child as if it's the first sound ever made, listening, truly listening to the echoes of friends, family, the ancients through their volumes, and the neon bright scribbles in a coloring book, to the sheer hues of existence, the noise, the silence, to Ginsberg's barbaric howl over the roofs of the world, listening to the divine comedy, to the prophets and poets, the madmen with their lanterns looking for an honest man, the rebels with their cause, the saints with their quiet light, the hush of grass underfoot, the soft sermon of the mountain, to the woman who knows love, not as a word, but as action. Listen to the dreams, the nightmares, the signs, the philosophies, angry, peaceful, puzzled, to the ominous, silent post-atomic boom, to the you and the me and the us, to Jesus, to Buddha, to the open windows invitation, to the air, the very air we're made of, shared and reshared. The froth on a beer, the eloquence of drunks, the sincerity of a smile, the cosmic dance of karma on concrete. Listen to the stories of those with less, those who take, those who preach salvation with a side of earthly delights. To the mountain men and the wise women singing, this is how you love. Listen until the world becomes a chorus, a symphony, a ripple. Listen until words no longer are necessary. Until the soul's vocabulary is nothing but empathy. Until the answer is simply to be in the listening, in the kindness, in the patience. Now speak, but only if you must.
Nice job. I just wanted to say we have one more reader before we go into our featured reader of the night, Lola Campbell. And we are going to have Susan Diamond Riley as our last reader tonight in the reading part of the program. She is an award-winning author and editor. She has worked in publishing, journalism, and education for nearly 40 years. She holds a master's degree in children's literature and is a member of the Society of Children's Books Writers and Illustrators, the South Carolina Writers Association, and the Island Writers Network. She is the published author of the Delta and Jack's Mystery series, including the soon-to-be-released novel, The Sea Devil's Demise, as well as the popular Greetings from the Low Country blog. So I want you to welcome Susan Diamond Riley.
Hello, can you hear me in the back? Can you hear me back there? Good enough. Okay. The Sea Devil's Demise. Officially, this book is going to be released next week, but I happen to have a copy, so I'm going to read to you from this new book. This is number 4 in my Low Country Mystery series, and we're going to meet a new character in this book named Annie. And the main characters, Delta and Jax, have been to the Tybee Island Pirate Festival, and they met this strange girl named Annie. She told them she was looking for a place called Charlestown, and the kids said, oh yeah, there's a place like that near us on Hilton Head. The next day, that's when this scene takes place. This is from chapter 4. The kids are back at home on Hilton Head. They're sitting in their grandfather's backyard because they're concerned that they may have been responsible for a manta ray's death that has been found on the banks of the Port Royal Sound. So they're out in the backyard worrying that they might be murderers. Oh, so you're murderers as well as thieves, are ya? Delta and Jax jumped and stared around them, trying to determine the source of the voice. Who said that? Jax asked. I said it, you stinking thieves. Delta looked toward the sound and could barely believe what she saw. Perched on the bent arm of a live oak tree, nearly 20 feet above the canal, sat Annie Cormack. What the heck are you doing here? Jax asked. Are you following us? Annie snickered as she shimmied down the tree trunk, still sporting the skirt and vest she'd worn the previous day at the Pirate Festival. Once on the ground, she nodded toward Jax as she addressed Delta. Your brother's got eyes, but no more sight than a blind puppy. What are you doing here? Delta asked, and how did you even know where we live? I didn't know where you live, Annie said. I snuck in the back of your father's carriage at the pirate gathering. I saw you stowing boxes in there and thought I'd ride along to Charlestown. First of all, Pops is not our father, Jack said. He's our grandfather. And who said you could sneak a ride in his truck? Annie stiffened her shoulders and marched to within a foot of Jack's. I said I could do it, and who said you could steal my ring? At this, Delta stepped between Annie and Jax. Listen, let's all calm down. We didn't steal anything, Annie. What are you even talking about? It was in the pocket of me apron when I got in your grandfather's carriage last night, and now it's gone. I went back to look for it, but the carriage ain't here no more. Well, we never saw a ring, did we, Delta? Jax asked. His sister shook her head. What does it look like? It looks like a ring, you boneheads. It's round and made of brass. Does it have any jewels in it, Delta asked, like diamonds or rubies or anything? No, just brass, though some of it's turned green, as brass does. Jax scrunched his nose. Didn't it make your finger turn green to wear it? Annie ignored his question and gazed at the kid's house. You said you lived by Charlestown, but this place don't look right at all. Well, sure, Jack said. Our neighborhood has mostly single-family homes. Charlestown is all apartments. Annie stared at him in confusion. Charlestown is a city. Huh? Jack said. No, it's an apartment complex a couple of miles from here. My friend Joey lives there with his dad every other week, when he's not staying with his mom. Maybe it's not the same place you were looking for, Delta suggested. Annie sighed and sat on the dock. The siblings exchanged a glance and a shrug, then sat beside her. So you spent all night in the back of Pops's truck, Delta said gently. Till it stopped raining. Annie looked at her lap. I got out before daylight so no one would see me. I've been hiding there in the trees ever since, except when I went to hunt for me ring. That man you were hiding from at the festival, is he your dad? Jax asked. Did you run away from home? Annie looked up. No, I did leave home for just a bit, but I thought I'd only be gone an hour or so. I'm trying to get back there, not run from it. But what about that man, Delta said. Who is he? Annie shook her head. I don't know for sure, but he means to kill me. The old sea devil said there was pirates chasing him, and that man is one of them. Now he thinks I got the ring, so he's chasing me. The siblings exchanged a glance with raised eyebrows. Annie, you know the pirate festival was just a one-day thing, right? Jax said. You don't have to stay in character anymore. Jax, these are probably the only clothes she has with her, Delta whispered. Yeah, but she doesn't have to keep talking all piratey, Jax replied. What's wrong with how I talk, Annie bristled. All of us from Ireland talk like this. Oh, you're Irish, Delta said. Is Charlestown a city in Ireland? Of course not, Annie replied. 'Tis a city in Carolina. Well, they're talking about splitting the colony in half, and we'd be called South Carolina, but I doubt that'll ever happen. But you said you're from Ireland, Delta said. I was born in Ireland, but I come over here a couple of years ago with me da. He runs a tavern in Charlestown. That's where I met the sea devil, who got me into this mess, thank you very much. He's the one done give me the ring. Now I gone and lost the blasted thing. If I don't find it, I'll never get back home. Delta reached into her sweatshirt pocket and pulled out her cell phone. Why don't you just call your dad and ask him to come get you? We can help look for your ring while we wait for him to get here. She held the phone out to Annie and watched as first confusion and then tears filled the girl's eyes. Placing her hand on Annie's shoulder, Delta quietly said, It'll be okay, I'm sure of it. Yeah, Jax agreed. Are you worried he'll be mad that you lost the ring? Annie shook her head. No, he don't even know about it. Will you be in trouble for running away? Jax suggested. I didn't run away. Then why are you crying? Delta asked gently. At this, Annie looked at the world around her and laughed sarcastically. You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Okay. We're coming to the specialist, bestest, most amazing part of the evening. Said like a true grammarian. Lola Campbell, we are so excited to have Lola with us tonight. Lola, for those of you who don't know her, and I'm privileged to have met her, and I know a number of her family members, and it's an amazing family. Lola was born and raised on Hilton Head into one of the oldest native families in the Spanish Wells community. Oma Lola Campbell, is of Gullah descent. Growing up in the Low Country and born into the rich Gullah culture, one where community and heritage are key, Lola has learned many life gems from her elders. She has always considered finding her life purpose and following her dreams as very important for survival and personal success. A formally trained lawyer, Lola works by day as a senior derivatives counsel. I have to look up derivatives. In the demanding financial industry. However, her passion has always been to help others find that magic that makes their souls soar through helping them to find their own divine purpose. Lola is a graduate of the University of Georgia and Howard University School of Law. If she isn't spending time with her friends and family, you can almost always find her doing community work, journaling, or exploring the local area with her adventurous 11-year-old son, Jalen. Writings on the Wall, Poetic Words from My Soul, is Lola's first book. And I think she brought some with her tonight. Yes. In the midst of our lives, one of the books, in the midst of our lives, we must find the magic that makes our souls soar. Lola Campbell.
All right. I guess we're about the same height, Denise. Perfect. Good evening. I'm so happy to be here. A little nervous because I feel like when there are more people that I know, I'm more nervous to speak than in front of the strangers. So thank you for everyone who I do know that has come out to support me. Thank you, Denise, for inviting me to be the featured speaker tonight. I have to say that even though I don't get the chance to come to these often, or this is my first time actually, but I've done some gatherings with the Writers Network before. You all do inspire me to continue to write because I have so many other things going on in life that it's easy sometimes to just say, I don't have time to do it. But knowing you and meeting you and seeing you around town and you guys kind of giving me that, like fist pump of keep on writing, it really helps. So thank you for that. So Writings on the Wall, I don't think I've ever explained why I named it Writings on the Wall, so maybe tonight is the time to do that. Well, this book was written over like a period of years in my life, mostly when I was living in New York City and working, going into work every day physically, not remotely as I do now, to the banks in the hustle and the bustle of New York City, and sometimes just feeling like I really needed an outlet other than going out to a bar or dancing or whatever, all the things we do in the big cities. So writing was my outlet, and I used it to kind of get away, but it also, in writing, helped me to figure out what my purpose and my passion in life was. And I feel like it, in a way, helped me end up right here, back on Hilton Head Island, where I was born and raised, and doing what I do think is my purpose, to help my community and to continue and preserve my Gullah culture. So, with that, I'll dive right in. I am a Southern belle with a name that originated in the motherland. I am the child of the best parents in the world, and I bring joy. Just reading a little bit from the introduction. I won't read the whole one. And Denise, let me know if I need a red card. I'm not sure how much time I have up here tonight.
I earned the red card for you.
Okay, great. I am a little Gullah girl transformed into a beautiful black woman. I was raised on an island off the coast of South Carolina, 12 miles long, 5 miles wide. I am a single, intelligent, professional, seasoned mother who is committed to living life to the fullest. And if you're wondering what I know, well, not as much as I'd like to, but what I do know is that I have the force of those ancestors behind me, and I will succeed, I will be happy, I will live in my purpose through sharing my thoughts, and most importantly, I will find the magic that makes my soul soar. I will love and be loved, I will think, I will write, I will do. How do I know? Because the writings are on the wall. They always have been. As you read my words and experience my journey, become inspired to embark on your path, use your voice, follow your passion, and find your purpose. That, in a nutshell, says what I want to contribute with writing this book to all of you. Find your purpose. Don't leave it behind. If there's an itch, scratch that itch. Keep going, you know. For a long time in life, I felt like I needed to follow this certain path and be a certain thing or be a certain person. And, you know, that's just not always true. As you go through life, you learn that sometimes you just have to do what you think is best for you. On the subject of life and purpose, life can be so much harder than expected at times. Your choice of paths can make or break you. One thing I've learned is when you're not sure of your path, you must speak up and seek to understand it fully, no matter how uncomfortable that feels. It's about moving on, and most times the sign to move on is being uncomfortable. The fear of the unknown tends to paralyze us, preventing us from growing into our purposed selves. We allow fear to promote self-doubt, meaning that we fear failure. But failure itself is the path to success. Therefore, we cannot fear failure without fearing our success. This one is called Trapped. So the way that the book is laid out is that there's some prose before each poem. And so that was the prose piece. Trapped, dreaming of an escape, trapped by fear, that the leap may not produce euphoria, that the grass may not be greener, that living may not be rewarding. So I continue to sleep and dream of what could be, what could come, praying to wake up and break free, soon, soon to come. I can't imagine life without dreams. Dreams are the foreshadowing of goals that I am meant to set and eventually attain. They are painted pictures of my future self and life. Finding, fulfilling, and living your dreams out, or in your purpose, is like God's own dreams for you coming true. This one is called Dream Life. Sometimes I wish life was a dream so I could wake up in a new world where complicated is not understood and strength is not a mandate, where it's okay to be careless because there's not so many cares to care about. I could end the evening or start the morning with a hug of equality and never feel burdened by the expectation. Not one fear of where, when, who, how, would ever rent space in my mind. Just ownership of pure consciousness and good vibrations. Love would open itself up to me fearlessly. and life's gifts would come with no cost. Sometimes I wish life was just less of more. That is what I dream for sure. I've learned and believe that every person who comes into our lives has been handpicked and perfectly molded by God for the purpose and role they are meant to play in our lives. In the same fashion, every experience or opportunity that we have been allowed, whether it turned out to be great or disastrous, was meant to be a part of our journey. And for these blessings, we must be grateful. We are blessed in so many ways with so much talent, intelligence, and grace, just the way of the universe showing us our greatness. The ultimate hope is that with gratitude, we realize such greatness. This one, sorry, and don't need those today. Some days are good. I'll be thankful. And guess what? The name of this poem is Thankful. Looking up to the sky, giving praise to the Most High, thankful for all that I have, thankful for all that I don't, and that I wanted but didn't get. Because that just means it wasn't meant for me, and He has something much better in store. Every day that I wake is a day for giving thanks, for a grateful heart and favor-filled soul. My God, I continue to thank you for making me whole. So these are not my words. These are words of the great Bob Marley, but I had to put them in here. Every man got a right to decide his own destiny. And this one is called Destiny. Staring at my destiny, trying to convince me that it's easy, this life full of trial and triumph. Sweet victory, when you just open up your eyes to see your destiny. Yep, it's all on me. On the subject of love and matters of the heart, because we all need love in our lives, right? Love is unique to everyone. And even when it hurts, true love is probably one of the most powerful forces on earth. Love overdose. Love is a drug, addiction for the soul, satisfaction for the spirit, a challenge for the mind, the ultimate pleasure for the body. Everyone deserves to become intoxicated. Feel its effects. Love conquers all. This one is love freed. What do you do when your heart has run out of patience, when you can't contain the love anymore, when the feelings and emotions start to swell out of your mind? Let it all run freely like a river. It's sure to find its way to where it belongs. One of our best gifts in life is that of love, the feeling we feel when it's present in our hearts, spirits, minds, and bodies is like no other. Love never deserves to be suppressed. It's meant to be shared. Give love, receive love. Good energy is everything. It's a powerful source of internal enlightenment. We have to be very mindful of others who lack it, and therefore attached to our energy source, seeking to leech from it. Some are unaware of what they are doing. They just realize that it feels good and they gotta have it. Others have the utmost intention of feeding on our beautiful well of goodness. Either way, this can lead to us becoming easily drained and depleted. I have found that the best way to protect my good energy is by restricting access to just anybody. I know this is a hard task for someone who naturally exudes good energy, but it's detrimental. Only those who either mean well and are in need and/or can replenish us in some way should have access. Those who come to take with no means or intentions of giving need to be restricted. Because just as good energy is everything, people who have it are everything. This one is called Everything. I am worn, I am tired, I am lonely, but still, I am everything. The last poem that I will read is not in the book, but it is on the poetry trail. I wrote this one initially for Local Life magazine as an answer to a letter that Charles Frazier wrote years ago, talking about how he wanted Hilton Head to be, and what I guess he thought that this place that he was creating would be going forth in the future. And so now I wrote back basically saying how it is. Where we live. Where we live is home. We go from kindergarten to senior prom with friends whose parents have known each other since their own youthful days. And even when we leave for the big cities where greener pastures supposedly lie, we are always connected and we always return. It's the smell of the salt in the air as we cross the bridge that says, relax, you're home now. It's the sight of the water expanding beyond the point our gazes reach that silences any noise taking over our thoughts. Where we live is community. It's a small town vibe with big ideas and grand landscapes, a gold mine of creativity and knowledge, good people with good hearts, where a stranger is not a stranger for long and they keep coming back until they're no longer visitors but locals themselves, where side of the road vegetable stands are the norm with nothing but the best quality to offer. It's a scene of live music and artisans and creators and survivors, of surfers and golfers and tennis players, ladies who lunch and are dedicated to causes, where diversity and family will always be a theme, even when unwelcomed. Morning runs or walks with marsh views, glad you got that, Robin. Coffee cups and neighbors catching up, fall oyster roasts, and summer crab boils, where we're taught at a young age how to live off and for the ocean, because everything goes back to the water, our source of resource. Where we live is beauty. It's a delicate mix of new and old, of ebb and flow, of progress and retreat. It's low country's hospitality, southern with a laid-back feel, where food and culture are an art form. Bikers and beachcombers, beignets and kumyas, pecan trees and honeysuckles, cattails and seashells, shared space with alligators, egrets, sea turtles, dolphins, redfish, and more, which we aim to protect. Where we live is memories. Beach picnics with the family gang, sand in our toes, wind on our faces, with saltwater baths that cleanse our souls. Defusky Day boat rides filled with treats and stories, cookouts and birthdays under the mossy oaks and pines, with watermelon wedges and red light, green light. Bonfires on the beach until they could be no more, crabbing at the point where we used to bog in the mud and now we fish off the pier. Caligni pizza and ice cream cones, smiles on our faces, pictures in our heads. This island has held a place in our hearts from the day we were born into the village. That's how it was always meant to be. Where we live is a history, heritage, and pride, a hidden gem on the southeastern coast with a rich story that is seldom told, with remnants of bateaus along the creek banks built by craftsmen of yesteryear, where each local establishment was created on its own story and has since become a piece of the islands, where ancestors watch and pray over our Gullah community, where the ones who have been here share their stories happily with the ones who have come, where gratitude for the environment is sewn into the fiber of the island curriculum, and every citizen is encouraged to take a crash course, where being a local is like wearing a badge of honor, and the natives carry the highest rank, where we've endured the change, whether good or bad, and forged on to maintain the vision, where we live is home, where the sun sets beautifully over our heads, painting the sky with earth-tone watercolors, where we sit on our porches and take it all in, and we thank God for another day in our life on the island. Thank you. So, there's one more thing I'd like to share. This is not a poem. This is just something I started working on. And I don't even know if it's ever going to go anywhere, but I will share a little bit. So, I've often been the only one in the room. And it's a testament to my upbringing for how comfortable I've been able to make myself feel as the only one in the room. I've been the only one with the color of my skin in the room. I've been the only one as a female in the room. I've been both of those only in the room. And you know, it's been a great lesson to be the only one in the room. But I started thinking about how I got the faith and the courage and the strength to continue to progress when I was the only one in the room, and it's really from my family. Sometimes that's what it just takes to start a movement, to be the only one in the room. So I started writing some stories that made me, and if it wasn't for their strength, I wouldn't be able to be the only one in the room. I'll just read one short story of one of the family members. And that's my father, Solomon Christopher Campbell III. My mother always said that I was the second boy Daddy had wished for in life. I liked to get dirty as a child, mud pies, worms, fishing, crabbing, bogging in the mud, on the walk across the point, all things I enjoyed, especially fishing on the rock. That's a honey hole in sea pines for those of you who don't know. Anyway, that was a place that Daddy and Uncle Leroy always frequented. I caught my first flounder there. My dad was amazed because it took skill and a certain bait dragging capability to catch a flounder. Lucky for me, I was just impatient and kept reeling the line in from boredom. Okay, that's all I have of that so far. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Lola. That was absolutely simply charming, wasn't it? Woo! We are just enriched by your words and what you've said to all of us tonight. And we thank you from the bottom of our heart for sharing that. Thank you. Well, that concludes our second open mic of 2024. We hope you've had a great time. We hope you come back. Woo! And what we hope is that we'll have more tables next time and more chairs. But anyway, we all seem to make it work. Anyway, so just go home, get home safely. We hope that you will stop by. Lola, you have your book for sale, and maybe you might like to purchase that and keep this party rolling. You can just read when you get home. Denise, do you want to have any closing remarks? No, she said no. So All right, well, anyway, all of you, again, thank you so much, and thank you to Sally and to Lyndon, the owners of TO's, for letting us use their space. They're just wonderful, thank you. Thank you to all the wait staff who was so patient and really helped us get what we needed for sustenance to get through all of this. And also the other thing, I would just like to thank all of you for supporting us.